Hi BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie and I'm doing a review of Breach, the novella Breach, a piece by Daniel B. Greene, who is a YouTuber on here. And he does fantasy news. He talks about fantasy books. He's a big fan of Wheel of Time, the Wheel of Time series. It's a good channel, especially if you're a fantasy fan. And in my opinion, I feel like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to fantasy and writing. So like I said, this is a novella. It follows a familiar plot of when the government is in complete control. And now I was trying to think of when what we call. I was trying to think of the word martial law the other day. Whenever, like, if the president decides to take complete control of, feels the need to take complete control of the U.S. I think that's called martial law. But I don't know if that applies to here. But either way, the government is taking control, and we have a group of rebels that are trying to fight back. And what is interesting and unique about this, in my opinion, or at least unique to me, because I feel like I don't read or watch even a lot of stories that have this kind of perspective. We are in the perspective of the law enforcement, a police detective, and I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly, but Khaled, I think her name is, and she's married to Samuel, another cop on the force. So it's a little bit of conflict of interest there, which I think is interesting scenario. And they find out Lord Pruitt, his household has been attacked. And all the residents of his household have been brutally murdered. And they find out that the Lord Pruitt himself has been given this sort of drug or something that's turned him into a demonic-like creature, a monster. And which the monster actually attacks Khaled. And she suspects that it's the rebels. But one of their fellow cops, I guess he's a detective, Chapman, has reason to believe it's not the rebels. So this, like I said, it's a novella, so it was a fast read. It did not take that long to read, but it was also really fun and engaging, and it got me curious. Was it the rebels that were responsible for this? And, it is also, and I wanted to know what was going to happen with Samuel and Khaled. And it was one of the things I really liked is that they were a married couple, which you don't get a lot of fantasy stories with married couples, or at least they are background characters, like they are the parents of the main character or something, or the main character's best friend. And so it was kind of nice and a breath of fresh air to see a story where the main couple are a married couple, and it's not, you don't have to deal with all the drama that can potentially take over a plot, even if it's a fantasy. Can take over the plot and consume the plot with the whole will they, won't they, or oh my god, they're fighting. Although the couple does have a fight because in this one, because you learn that Samuel's a bit of a temper, and he has a competitive relationship with Chapman, putting Khaled in this very difficult position where she has to, and of course she already has a conflict of interest being married to Samuel. And you get that they're very protective of each other, and they worry a lot about each other because they're in a job where they are constantly in danger. So that was the biggest conflict they had, is he loses his temper at one point, not to her, but because they have a very beautiful relationship. But he gets mad at Chapman, and she has to get between them and calm him down. And the constant worry that each other is in danger. And like I said, the monster kind of lands on her and attacks her, and he's very worried about her and her life constantly being on the line with this job. So that was their biggest problem. There was no will they, won't they, or oh my god, there's a third party in between. Like Chapman, well, Chapman doesn't come between them in that sense. So that, like I said, was a breath of fresh air. It was kind of nice to see a story where it wasn't like all about the couple and like, are they gonna get together or not? Which I like that stuff, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it is nice to read stories where that's not the main focus. Where, where there is romance, but it's not like, that's not like the main focus. It's just a love, they're just a happily married couple who love each other. I also thought there was some graphic stuff in there, like Greene describes, I feel weird calling him that. I'm just gonna say Daniel. Daniel, he describes the scenes of how these bodies are horribly mutilated, which is really great. It's not as graphic as like George R. R. Martin graphic, but still detailed. And still a bit gruesome, especially when the monster lands on Khaled, and it's gross, but in a good, entertaining kind of way, in my opinion. Like I said, it's very fast paced. But again, it is one of those stories where there's not a lot of chapters, but some of the individual chapters are a bit long, but not necessarily not long in a boring kind of way, but like, and there's a lot going on in the chapter. A lot happens in the chapter. What else can I say about I liked how, and I also really liked how, like I said, as I was saying earlier, we are in a perspective that you don't get a lot. It's the law enforcement perspective. And these people are just doing their job. No, and it's not about like, oh, these people are corrupt or anything, because they do a lot of corrupt cop stories. But this one, they're not corrupt. They're just people trying to do their job. And of course there's support of the government, They are employed by the government. Like, it kind of made me think of Gotham, and how Gotham is from the perspective of Jim Gordon. I mean, not just Jim Gordon, it's also about, Bruce Wayne himself as a kid, and then all the villains and their origin stories. But one of the main characters is Jim Gordon, and he is a good cop. He's not corrupt like the rest of the people in the GCPD. He's always trying to do the right thing and just doing his job. So it reminded me of that a little bit with this story about these cops who are just trying to do their job. They're not corrupt. They just are doing what they need to do. And again, the government is paying them probably. So of course they're going to support the government and do their job well. I also like Chapman's character. He was very interesting. There was a bit of mystery about him because he was one of those characters that keeps to himself and not very personable. He doesn't get along with his, he tends to get on people's bad side. Him and Samuel, like I said, have a bit of a rivalry, a competitiveness. Now, Catelyn likes him, though. She considers him a friend. But she's probably the only person that likes him. Like, he doesn't even remember the names of some of his fellow officers. But I did like his character. And, it was really fun. I was definitely engaged in the story. I was excited to see what was going to happen. And, okay, my phone just left an alert. I wonder if that's a warning that the thunderstorm is coming. Because I know we're supposed to get rain. So I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's, that annoying alert sound that you get on your phone that lets you know that, oh, there's a loss, the Amber Alert, or there's bad weather coming, which I think in this case is probably they're letting us know that there's bad weather, like flood warnings or something. I mean, it hasn't started raining yet, but, I've been told it was coming. I mean, I hope it wasn't, but it must be. So sorry, that alert got my attention. But anyway, so yeah, I was really into this, and the only thing is I wish it was a little bit longer. But there is another book. I don't know how many books are going to be in this series, but I'm definitely going to buy that book soon and get into it because I really enjoyed this first book. Like I said, my only problem is that I wish it was longer. I I liked our main character, by the way. I really Khaled was cool. And yeah, so anyway, this is really good. I definitely think people should check it out. It's fun. It's like I said, it's a bit of a I don't normally like police procedural stories or detective stories, reading them anyway, but this I had a good time with. It was, like I said, it was fun. Like I said, I'm a big fan of that trope of the government versus the rebels, and like I said, it was, I enjoyed that it was from the perspective of the law enforcement, someone that's kind of caught in the middle. And again, I'm excited to read the next one. Alright, so this is, like I said, it's a short review, but it is a short book. So there's, please check this out. And also, like, check out Daniel's channel. Like, if you're a fantasy fan and you, by chance, which most fantasy fans have probably come across his channel. But if you haven't, please check it out and check out his book. His, Daniel's book. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification below if you want to be notified when I post new videos. I hope you're enjoying your reading and staying happy, healthy, and safe. And I will talk to y'all later. All right, bye.